Kidnappings are commonly shown in movies because they produce a distinctive mood, sometimes before you even know who the characters are. It starts to elicit tension and empathy from the audience. You will discover a varied collection of movies in our pick of the best kidnapping movies on Netflix, including a documentary, sci-fi, and some really compelling thrillers. We'll also look at some films on this list that cover a little more ground than just the word kidnapping. Just before we dive into the video, take a moment and subscribe to the channel. This will be a great support for us. Without any further ado, let's jump into the video with our first film in this list. Extraction.
You want to survive, you do exactly as I say.
Who are you?
Name?
Ovi.
An ex-SAS operator and current mercenary, Tallulah Rake, is involved in a mission to save the son of an Indian drug lord in Extraction, which is set in contemporary India and Bangladesh. Corrupt police agents working for rival drug lord Nyara kidnap Ovi Mahajan in the opening scene of the movie. Ovi is the son of a drug lord who is currently behind bars. Through his contacts, he enlists Tallulah Rake to help him rescue his son. Rake successfully infiltrates the abductors and frees Ovi. But the mission goes awry when Saju turns on Rake and murders the majority of his men. Nyara declares a complete lockdown of Dhaka with no entrances or exits because Ovi is now on the run. As a result, everything is lined up for an epic clash between a skilled ex-Special Forces agent and the entire underworld of Dhaka. A second part of the movie is under work, and it will hit theaters in summer 2023. The Kindergarten Teacher.
The sun hits her yellow house. It's almost like a sign from God.
Was that a poem? Right, that was a poem.
Such a delicate thing, right? You give the kids something and then they have it forever.
The Kindergarten Teacher, one of the best Netflix original movies of 2018, follows Lisa Spinelli, a teacher who becomes fixated on one of her young children after he demonstrates a remarkable gift for poetry. Even though Lisa's married, neither she nor her spouse or children have a good relationship. The poetry class she takes provides the only break from her regular life. Even if she strives to compose something original, the teacher generally labels her work as derivative. At this point, Lisa recognizes Jimmy's lyrical aptitude and even tells his father about his tremendous potential. Jimmy's father, however, does not take any interest in his son's artistic abilities and does not take any steps to foster them. After deciding that something had to be done, Lisa abducts Jimmy. The movie The Kindergarten Teacher was remade, and although Sarah Colongello succeeded in capturing the essence of the original, the movie still has its own personality. The standout aspect of the movie is without a doubt Maggie Gyllenhaal's magnificent performance as the title character. Great film, and I highly recommend you to watch it. Apostle.
We have an intruder on our land. We have to find him.
He shall be cleansed according to the edict of this land.
Please, Lord, forgive us.
In Apostle, one of the best horror movies of 2018, a man named Thomas Richardson learns that his sister has been abducted by a religious cult and is being held on a heavily guarded island. The story is set in the early 20th century. Thomas decides to infiltrate the island while posing as a member of the cult in an effort to rescue his sister from the grasp of this murderous group. Thomas is horrified by the crimes committed by the cult's leaders and how ruthlessly they treat their prisoners once he arrives on the island. This island was built to be a haven from the mainland's corruption, but it ends up being even more nefarious and harsh. This movie stands out from the majority of other horror movies because of its high production value. Gareth Evans, who is also the writer and director of the film, does a masterful job of conjuring up this ominous area of land where the cult operates and transporting us there. You are doing yourself a great disservice if you enjoy horror movies and have not yet seen Apostle. So to waste time, check it out. The next film in this list, titled Hush. Maddie is a stay-at-home writer who lives in a remote location and is deaf and mute at the beginning of this invasion thriller. She is accustomed to it because she has been deaf and mute for roughly half of her life. Sarah, a friend of hers, frequently visits her at her home to check on her. One fine day, as soon as Sarah leaves, she rushes back to her door and even begins to bang on it. However, we witness a carefree Maddie cooking dinner and doing her chores while Sarah is brutally murdered. Tallulah. In this film, Elliot Page plays a pivotal role as Tallulah, a young homeless girl who essentially lives on the road with her boyfriend Nico. Despite their differences, they part ways, and Tallulah moves to New York City in search of food and lodging. She frequently stole food from hotel rooms leftovers to survive. During one of her thefts, Carolyn, a woman, approaches Lou and asks her to watch over her infant. Carolyn is nowhere to be found, so Lou takes the infant to Margot, Nico's mother, and claims the child as their own as police round the hotel property. The two are subsequently and willingly welcomed into Margot's home. Although it's a kidnapping movie, it's enjoyable to watch because of the lighter subject and the dark humor. Great film, and I highly recommend you to watch it. Lucid Dream. Journalist Daeho is looking for his son who was abducted 3 years ago and trying to find him. Although the case has been closed, Daeho can still dream about the day his son was taken thanks to an experimental approach. You'll be on the edge of your seat the entire time you watch Lucid Dream. The investigations occurring in the real world and the dreams cross in intriguing ways, and the plot has many turns. It is a clever South Korean interpretation of Inception. Tao. In the science fiction thriller Tao, the relationship between a woman and Tao, an artificial intelligence, is highlighted. Gary Oldman. After being kidnapped from her house, Julia awakens to discover an implant in the back of her neck. She destroys the lab and the cell where she was being held in an effort to escape. Since his facility was damaged, her captor Alex is facing a setback in his research and wants her to be alive. She bonds with Tao during her captivity and exchanges information about the outside world for knowledge about the house and Alex's experiments. Forgotten. One of the most intriguing movies on this list. The film tells the tale of a young guy named Jin Seok who decides to learn the truth about his brother's kidnapping. His brother Yoo Seok was taken away for 19 days before being unexpectedly freed. Yoo Seok does not recall anything at all. Thus, his family never learns what really happened to him during those times. Jin Seok gradually realizes that his brother and family are not who they are portraying themselves to be over the course of a few days as he begins to harbor questions about them. Jin Seok informs the police that he was being kept captive by some strangers because he fears for his safety. The plot of the movie then begins to take an even darker and intriguing turn. The film is really amazing, and the cast did a great job portraying the characters. This is why you should give it a chance and watch it. Nyara the Kidnapping. The ability to watch movies that we never would have otherwise had access to is one of the best things about Netflix. Nyara the Kidnapping, a Tanzanian movie in the Swahili language, serves as a prime example. The protagonist of the story is Rehema, the daughter of a successful businessman who is kidnapped by a notorious gang on her way home from school. The goons eventually get in touch with the frightened father and make a $150,000 demand while advising Rehema's parents not to call the police. Rehema's parents contact her right away because Rehema's aunt works with the law enforcement. The story then shifts to a cat-and-mouse game as the police try to free the girl in a short amount of time. These kinds of movies have an intrinsic enjoyment factor. They exude sincerity and unconstrained love for filmmaking despite having a tiny budget. Kidnapping Stella.
We don't want to hurt you or kill you, but we're ready to do it at any moment. Understand? No one will hear you. No one will help you. We're your only friends now.
Let me go, or I swear I shoot you.
The German thriller Kidnapping Stella, written and directed by Thomas Eben, is an adaptation of the 2009 movie The Disappearance of Alice Creed. You can watch Kidnapping Stella to get an idea of what a minimalist film is if you wish to see one. 3 characters, 2 criminals named Tom and Vic, and the girl they end up kidnapping, Stella, are at the center of the movie. It shows how Stella, who is bound and gagged by her captors, utilizes her meager power to liberate herself. Sieben attempts to tell an exciting story with few location and only 3 performers, but issues occur when he stays too close to the original source material. The plot of the movie depends on the unexpected turns it takes, so if you can't add anything fresh to a remake, it won't look fascinating. This is all we got for this video. I hope you liked this list, and if you think more movies available on Netflix and worth to be among this list, don't hesitate and comment it below. Thanks for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video.